Greetings everyone, welcome to TokenNuggets. In this video, we meet Mike of Mars Initiative. Mike is a member of the Harmony Validator Council DAO and also an active validator on the Harmony network. We talk about the Harmony ONE projects, we talk about DeFi and other stuff. Do not forget to stake your Harmony ONE tokens to TokenNuggets validator node or any of the other active validators. As always, do like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we thank you for your time. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another crypto rant session with friends of the channel. Today is a special one because we've got someone we'll call an OG in the Harmony game on the show tonight. So, and we have the usual suspects as well. So, what we'll do is do a quick fire introduction round like we always do, and meet the guests. We'll of course start with the usual suspect before we introduce the special guest we have today. So we'll start with London. Chiweze, please do a quick fire introduction. Introduce yourself, please.
Thank you once again. This is Chiweze here. I do cybersecurity, and I'm the coin watcher.
Excellent, that will do. Can we go to Germany? Jedi K, introduce yourself, please.
All right, Jedi K here. As usual, connecting the dots. Good to have this session.
And could we swing over to Africa? This is fun, actually. I feel like I'm flying all over the place. Can we swing over to Eagle One in Africa, Nigeria? Tell us, introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. Eagle One here, all the way from Africa. Crypto still fascinates me.
Done. Thank you. And of course, last but not the least, technical advisor. Sol, introduce yourself, please, from London.
Everyone, it's Sol. Thank you very much for having me. Validator as well, as you know, and the solutions architect by profession. And I just love crypto. I want to learn more just to understand the ecosystem and how it works. And Mike, thanks very much for joining.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And of course, we'll have to now go over to our special guest for this session. Mike, please introduce yourself.
My name's Mike. I run Mars Initiative. It's a validator node on the Harmony network. And yeah, as the guy said, I've been part of the Harmony network since the beginning.
Excellent. Nice to meet you, Mike. So, well, again, just so we fill Mike in on how we do stuff. It's generally unscripted. We just have a rant about stuff, and then someone takes the pain to edit it so that we don't put out the wrong information, shall I say. So, but for now, for this session, I think it's best I share my screen, first of all, so I can show the viewers your page, at least. This is Mike's Twitter page. And of course, the URL I was talking about is the Mars Initiative page here. So this is Mike's Mars Initiative. Mike, do you want to talk to us about this Mars Initiative? I know it's focused around your involvement with Harmony and all that.
Yeah, so like the biggest aspect for this is just to educate. I'm a firm believer of building relationships over transactions, right? So like I'm not on Twitter or on social media just begging for delegations. I'm out there trying to educate. And that is how you push mass adoption, right? Like,
absolutely.
For you to get someone to earn like a universal basic income by just staking their coins, and versus just having their money sit into a savings account that they'll lose money due to inflation. It just makes sense. But nobody knows about it. So that is the whole Mars Initiative goal, is to get as many people onto that rocket ship as possible, because it will change lives.
Excellent. So but one thing comes to mind though. So, Mike, given that you've been in this space for a while, why Harmony? Why Harmony? Of other projects, other tokens, Matic, for instance, is another promising project. So why Harmony?
So I'm asking the same question. Sorry, I'm asking the same question as well, because I think almost everything I see you tweet on make on Twitter is all Harmony. So I'm listening.
Yeah.
So part of my rule to investing is, one, it has to have a solid team behind it, right? Two, it has to solve a problem. Those are my only two rules when it comes to investing coins. So as you can imagine, I did not invest in Dogecoin, unfortunately. So, I mean, of course, my gains could have been a lot better if I just, followed the trend, right? But it just went against my investing rules. And Harmony has a rock solid team that's standing behind it, and it solves a problem. Their goal is to bridge all blockchains together. They're not competing. Like, they want to harmonize all chains.
Absolutely.
So that alone is
absolutely. I agree with that. Sorry to chime in there, Mike. I agree with that. I think the fact that a project exists to try and harmonize all of this, all the chains, and make it interoperable. I think that's to be lauded and that's to be applauded. It is no mean feat, by the way. So it's not going to be an easy one. Yeah. Okay. Right. Guys,
as far as like other coins and everything, I am invested in other coins. I'm not just I'm not a Harmony elitist. Like, I do think Matic is a excellent token to be invested in too, but it does solve a problem, does have a great team behind it, but also the problem that it's solving is kind of limited compared to what Harmony does. It's just a layer 2 solution for Ethereum. So if you have another token like Harmony that solves that problem and then some, of course I'm going to go all in onto that one.
Okay. Were those the pointers? Were those the attributes of the project that you saw at the beginning that made you go for it?
In the beginning, back in 2019, no. Like, it was different back then. You just kind of just invest in probably anything and everything at that point, because everything was just a moonshot. The space was just different. It was just being flooded by ICOs, and you just never knew which one was going to take off. At first, like, I wasn't too sure about Harmony. Like, I did invest pretty heavily into it, but it was like so new, and it was like, you go to the Reddit page, like back then, they only had like 400 followers. Wow. And they were just posting meditation videos.
Meditation videos. Oh my days.
And I was just like, what is this? But, and that's when it was born in a bear market too. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll hold on to this and just kind of see what happens. And then I did my research as I went along. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, this is a game changer. Wow. The CEO, Steven C, like he dreams big, and that's what I like to see. Someone that
ambitious. Yeah.
Someone that's very ambitious. Someone that not only has an achievable goal, but also has like very lofty goals that almost seem impossible,
Yeah. So also looking at your profile here, you're more into DeFi. Do you have any, do you have an aversion for the centralized exchanges, or you're also of the school of thought that, the reason for having crypto in the first place is to take away the middleman, and you'll rather stick to DeFi?
When it comes to all the DEXes, I think that we still have a long ways to go. And then, so the centralized exchanges do have a place right now, because we want to try and onboard as many people as possible, right? And to try and explain to your grandma how to link up MetaMask to a Chrome browser and go to a DEX. That's a huge task.
It is.
Versus just downloading like Robinhood or Coinbase or Binance. It makes things so much easier. So right now it is kind of like they are necessary. So, but I do see with education and with other applications that are going to be developed, it's just going to be easier, and the DEXs are the future.
Absolutely. Okay, interesting. Coin Watcher, you want to chime in here?
I have two sets of questions, and I'm asking as a guy who just jumped into this space. I've been doing this since January, and within a short space of time, I've learned a little, and I've made some mistakes in terms of how I approach things and my perspective But it does appear that learning and the things are becoming clearer. And then what I do feel is, I've had lots of conversations with TJ in the past about, he's so passionate about it on banks. So my question is, you've been here since in this space since 2015. My question is, where do you see DeFi going? At the moment, we DeFi, we don't need any bank, and so do you see the banks? How do you see the banks coming in? Because I don't see them, in my opinion, I don't see them just staying there and just looking on by. So where do you see DeFi, and the banks in the future, and how things are done?
That's where I see a lot of FUD coming in, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Because DeFi will get in the way of profits of bankers. Like they're making billions off of us, and they're not going to just lay down and just let us, take that away from them. So there will be, I think, a lot of FUD in the future, and then it's just going to come to a point where they're going to have to adapt themselves. And if they don't, then they will just become forgotten.
Right. I mean, in terms of that adaptation, I mean, I'm thinking. I mean, is it possible that are they going to be like a lot of? Are they going to invest? So, I mean, what do you think exactly they're going to be doing? Are they going to be investing or building their own applications or trying to integrate?
Yeah, they'll definitely be investing and building their own, applications. Like you were already saying this years ago. JP Morgan was so anti-Bitcoin, and they were just, fighting against it and releasing so many news articles to spread the FUD. And now you're seeing them embracing it, and and they're like, change is coming. We will be offering this.
Also on this coin watcher, I think the banks will have to adapt, at least the smart ones. And just like we have it in the space right now, in the crypto space, where there are multiple projects going on, solving or answering different problems, the banks will also have to adapt in that way. So maybe a bank might only be thinking about, lending, similar to what we have with Corv and so on, and they come up with a better or something to compete in that sense, right? And maybe another bank might just think, okay, we have a lot of maybe cross-border transactions and so on. Why don't we just do like a swap thing, but for the fiat, like stable coins, but from different countries or whatever it may be. They have to do that, because at the end of the day, if you look at it, think about our current mortgage or financial system. You need to have some funds, and then you get extra, you have your collateral, and you can buy a house like to someone else. Now put all that in terms of crypto assets, not one. So you don't need to say, oh, I only have Bitcoin or I only have Ethereum. But if they come up with a solution whereby you can merge all your different currencies and lend against that in whatever fiat or crypto specific currency you want, then they can provide that. And if the person selling you the apartment or the house says, I want, I want Harmony ONE, it doesn't matter if you have a mix of Harmony ONE, Ethereum, and so on, because you just go to your provider, drop in all you have as your collateral, and get your loan in Harmony ONE to pay for it. I think that's more or less where it will start off. And to be honest, there's no limit to how they can use their imagination. But then again, it's the smart people who will get ahead.
Yeah, I think I'll just chime in on that one. I think it's all around this, the whole idea around tokenization. And I was reading an article around real estate and tokenization. Matter of fact, I think it was when we did a deep dive into a particular token called UBT, that's Unibright. They have an ongoing, there was a YouTube video I watched of the CEO talking about real estate and tokenization, and it all sounded very interesting and fascinated me at the time. And so with back to Mike, you have an interest in real estate as well. So do you see tokenization, blockchain, etc., all of that being tokenized and going on the blockchain and crypto getting involved? What are your thoughts?
Oh, without a doubt. that is definitely like the future right there. It's like when you start to see like Zillow like incorporating blockchain technology like into their website, where you could just view a house and then just hit, you know, buy now with Bitcoin, you know, or buy down with you know, any token of your choice. That will be the future, without a doubt. And then to have a trustless transaction when it comes to, you know, supplying the warranty deed and the transfer and all that could be on the blockchain, and it would solve so many problems. It would take away so much time, and to just have a trustless transaction with no middleman. So it is definitely something to keep an eye open.
Okay.
Because even with COVID, it just went to, you know, show when COVID-19 was at its peak, the real estate market did not slow down at all. In fact, it actually ramped up even further. And then people still were not going out to view these houses because of COVID-19. They were just calling up their real estate agents and be like, I want this house. And they're buying it sight unseen. So
Wow.
why can't they just incorporate something like a buy now button, you know? Because it's already happening. So
yeah, absolutely. And so if I was going to teach somebody how to get started on that, I would have to say, you know, go for an asset that may be a lot more affordable now, etc. But I'll push the question back to you, Mike. How would one approach that? So a small business owner, they are interested in cryptocurrency. They want to adopt cryptocurrency and they have a bubble of customers. What would be the best approach for them to get started?
That right there is just to talk to your customer. I have a brother-in-law who runs a CBD business, a small little shop in northern Minnesota. You know, like he would not turn someone away that says, hey, can I pay with this in Bitcoin? He'll be like, yeah, sure. He'll pull up his Coinbase account and be like, this is my address, send it here. And it's getting to the point where crypto is like so fast that you could confirm the transaction right then and there. It's as fast as, you know, swiping your Visa card. Especially with Harmony with a 2-second finality. So
that's crazy. Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting one. Well, I think that leads me to the next angle of things that I think we should talk about. And I think everyone might have something to chime in here. So we've been talking amongst ourselves about the unbanked and how a project like Harmony could reach out to folks out there in, you know, parts of Africa, even parts of where we come from. How can we avail them? How can they avail themselves of the opportunity to get started early? And one other thing is the fact that now Harmony has reduced the barrier to entry to 100 tokens. I'm not sure if that's kicked in just yet, but again, that would be an interesting one. How do you see this working for the unbanked? Harmony especially. Have you thought about that at all, Mike?
Well, if they're unbanked, you know, they just need a smartphone. So if you have access to a smartphone, download the Blits wallet, and you could start staking within a matter of minutes. You know, you don't even need a computer where you go to the Chrome extension. You can do it all mobily. So that alone with the Blits wallet will definitely open so many doors to the unbanked.
Yeah, I haven't. I think we should have a deep dive on this actually. So has the 100 tokens kicked in just yet? The minimum staking requirement has that
not yet?
Just yet? Okay.
Not quite yet. So it's gonna. They haven't released an exact date. It's gonna be sometime this month. So
okay,
that's with the next big update.
Okay. Guys, what are your thoughts, guys, around the table? What are your thoughts on
I think there's a question I did want to ask Mike. Sorry to chip in. Obviously, Mike, you being a validator, you'll probably be able to key into this much more better. I suppose one big question for me is, this is from a governance standpoint now, what do you think are the decentralized security best practices that we as validators can start looking into now? I know Harmony has done a fantastic one lately where they had the DAO governance and they had to elect some people. That was a big step. I've always heard about things like decentralized SLA, how that would work. I have absolutely no idea. I know there've been noise here and there about decentralized reputation. I mean, how does this sort of fit in? I mean, how can this benefit us to sort of strengthen the ecosystem? What's your thoughts on that?
So right now, to strengthen the ecosystem, like the main goal right now that we're really need to do is to onboard more validators. So glad to see that you guys have your validator up and running and is successful. As you know, the hardest part is after getting it set up is to then market yourself. So basically anyone that has ran a command line can get this set up in 20 minutes. But then to get elected, to get that 5 million total staked, that could be quite hard. So unless you have an audience yourself or like how to market, that is definitely the bottleneck currently, because we need those 1,000 validators, 1,000 elected validators. So, and that's something that we are going to be working on with Harmony DAO Council. Now that that's up and going, is how can we make that easier? Because without more validators, as the network grows, we just won't be able to handle the traffic. So,
I can imagine. Wow. Okay. Interesting one, that. Yeah. Guys, you wanna ask Mike questions? Mike is an OG in Harmony, so please, all your Harmony questions direct to Mike now. Eagle One, what are your thoughts? Actually, let me throw this to Eagle One. Let's go to Africa now. What are your thoughts on Harmony and the unbanked? When we say unbanked, generally people who would need access to digital assets, and then people who don't even have a bank account even need, in some cases. What are your thoughts, Eagle One? Africa adoption, Harmony good for Africa, you think?
I think it's for Africa, it will be the selling point, because if it's about technology and access, to smartphones, most of the young folks here have access to smartphones because they're not so expensive to buy anymore, and everybody has one application or the other that they play with. Even the older folks, everybody uses WhatsApp. So if you have a phone that can carry WhatsApp easily, which almost everyone carries, then I think it's something that could work. I think it's just a selling point, how to market it to the people and let them understand what benefit they stand to gain from it. And that's it. I can just compare it to like when the ATM card first came to market. Making somebody who is unbanked understand that you can put a card in a machine and you access some money from your account, and it's not count the exact number of notes accurately, so it might be the same fee for those who are bank.
To buttress your point there, I think we should just iron that out so Mike understands what you just said. There's a lot in what Eagle One said, Mike. So Mike, again, Eagle One was alluding to when some countries in Africa first started getting the ATM machines, the cash machines out there. So the banks and the financial institutions had to go on a big campaign to educate people on the use of the bank card, the Visa cards, how to slot it in and all of that. So this is me thinking, wow. So imagine if, we need to start doing that for crypto, actually. We need to start educating people. Now it's going to be easier because, with online, you could put stuff out there and teach people. That was what Eagle was alluding to. Yeah, so it's going to be a long haul, long stroll.
And I think that leads to the question I was also asking earlier on as well, because Africa being Africa, it's always about security. That's the first thing, okay? So, and even when you sort of go through that bottleneck of security, then as Eagle One said, then there's that adoption strategy. How I think we discussed this about a few months ago. It was like, so how do you let them adopt this? At the moment, is pretty much almost like a no-go area a few months ago, but now I think they're now sort of settling in, and it's an adoption strategy thing for me. I don't think Africa would be that naive not to understand the blockchain. I think it's just the way that would come into the economy and, sort of take its own leap. But I think if we can have like things around security well strengthened, then maybe that would sort of give them a bit of comfort. That's just my own take.
True. Okay.
Right. I think when it comes to security, like it's definitely something to educate our delegators as well, how important security is, because the biggest risk is the delegator themselves losing their mnemonic or their seed phrase.
Absolutely.
Or let's say they don't have access to a computer and they go to a library to buy some crypto, and that has some malware on it. So it's like there's so many fail points when it comes to someone that's new to crypto, because if they lose that seed phrase and they can't log back in, their money's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think I've been silly to not even have thought about what's the responsibility of validators, within the space. Because as a security enthusiast, I've had loads of conversations with TJ about how to get things right and to make sure that people who are doing crypto have fun doing it, and then to have the confidence that their funds and their money and their tokens are safe. But I never thought about validators also doing their due diligence to secure their keys and all that stuff. That's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It is essential, because you want your network or your servers to be safe, not to be attacked. You don't want any exploits on your so we have to do all of that.
What is nice though is even if a new validator is not secure and they did not set up their server very secure and they did get hacked, the delegators' tokens are always safe.
Absolutely,
there's no risk at someone losing their money. So all they would, let's say
interesting,
a new validator went down due to a hack, the delegators that have delegated to that validator, they just undelegate and move to a different validator.
They move on.
And
that's interesting.
So there's no risk at all, because those coins that are delegated to the validator, they never leave the wallet.
They're still in the holder's wallet.
So it just gets locked in a smart contract.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one thing I actually talked about with TokenNuggets as well before we even set up this. I'm like, okay, so what's the biggest risk? Okay, so somebody keep $1 million. What happens? What's the worst case? And I think Patrick sort of debunked that for us, saying, well, you know what, guys, it's not a problem. They were just exactly what you said, Mike. And I think that's one of the reasons that gave us that drive, saying, well, you know what, we might as well go.
We actually spent a few weeks geeking out, going through the documentation, checking out the possible loopholes that we could look at, and then we thought, what, even if we get hacked, even if we lose our funds, at least stakers and delegators will still have their funds. So we're good with that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's where we are.
And then,
on,
as far as the validator keeping, because we have our own funds in our validator as well, to keep it safe. You got to keep those private keys secured.
Absolutely.
Always want to SSH into your validator node. You want to have keep everything encrypted. Don't access public Wi-Fi.
Absolutely.
Just those basic things and
the usual stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you do all those steps, you're not going to get hacked. There's no reason why you would.
Yeah, good one on that one. Other thing. So this is the Harmony. This is the popular page, the Harmony mainnet site there, and we are up to 5 million. And again, shout out to all our delegators, because I keep an eye on this, and shout out to all the delegators that put out this one with us. And we must also point out Mike's node as well, Mars Initiative. So what are you giving back now? Okay, 1095, 10.95. How long has it stayed that way, Mike?
So that is actually delayed stats. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Smart Stake dashboard.
Yes.
So that has actually a lot more accurate stats. So as of right now, I think every validator is seeing a decrease in rewards, and that's just because one of the shards are running a little bit slower, and then there's also some shard overpopulation as well.
Absolutely. I understand the DAO, you guys in the DAO council will be discussing that.
So a lot of it's just, we could solve a lot of that with just proper education, especially with onboarding new validators, and make sure that this is, you don't want to go to an overpopulated shard, and
absolutely,
shard 0 is not the devil, so it's fine to go into shard 0.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, this is the place to go, and to, like, if you have delegators are reaching out to you, like, oh, why is your expected ERI dropping? Well, just go to here. It's going to show you more accurate information.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we actually had a discussion about that with Slugom as well. Shout out to Slugom. He's always on hand as well to give us a push and all. Yeah, okay.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he's always he's never too tired to help. I think it must be said. Shout out to Slugom. I need to plug him again. Slugom here. Shout out to Slugom. It's amazing.
I think most of us just don't sleep ever, so we're constantly monitoring and constantly helping. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. All of you guys. But the thing is, all of you guys, the OGs are always there to sort of, give the new guys a push. So I must commend you guys as well for that, for helping the new guys, us new guys, get out there. So thanks to you guys, the old hands. Guys, I'll let you, just push questions across to Mike now. We have Mike. Mike, by the way, is on the Validator DAO Council.
Well done, Mike. Well done.
So you guys know, congratulations, Mike. We must round of applause for Mike. Mike, well done. Congratulations. Congratulations. These are the new DAO Council members. Well done, guys.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. You want to talk to us about this, Mike? What people should expect from the DAO, maybe?
So yeah, it's we've already been in touch. We're already communicating, and we basically just hit the ground running as soon as we were elected. So a lot of exciting stuff to come. So yeah, it's with all 5 of us, we're very like-minded, and we want what's best for the network and for other validators to succeed.
Fantastic.
So, and it's to tackle those bottlenecks, and we could solve a lot of it with just proper education.
Absolutely. Okay. And by all means, if you need us to spread some word about what Harmony is trying to get, or what Harmony is trying to accomplish, we will help share the word by all means. So I think we should have a way of teaching people DeFi, and then disambiguating those words, those big words that people often, come across and think, oh gosh, I don't have time to learn what that is. I've had people on a one-to-one session saying, you know what, don't want to go on anymore because there's too many words to understand and learn. What is a hash rate? What is DeFi? What is decentralization? What is the difference between the DEX and a SEX? So things like that. How do you think we can help with this, Mike? Help share.
I think this is a problem that you see not only in Africa but worldwide. Even in the US, it's we don't even teach in high school people how to balance a checkbook or how to read their credit report.
Absolutely, I agree with that, Mike. Yep.
You have all these people that are entering the world, and then they fall predatory to these student loans, high interest credit cards, car loans, and they, before they even land their career, they are already massively in debt.
In debt, absolutely.
And it's hard to get out from any sort of debt or to even put anything in a savings account. So we just need to tackle this head on at a really young age. And that's to get in communication with the schools and be like, we need to revamp this whole curriculum and really teach everyone about a new age of economics.
Absolutely.
Because the old system doesn't work. The debt is just compounding at this point exponentially.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
that is true, actually. Guys, thoughts on that? That's
I think Mike, I need to chip in on that because you've pretty much just
summed it up.
And I suppose that's why I'm sort of choosing my questions, just to make sure it's actually reaching out to an excellent number of people. So I've got 3 boys, right? Okay. The eldest is into football, he's quite a bit, he's not nerdy, but he knows what's going on, And he only got into crypto, just like maybe the rest of you guys have kids as well, you brought them in. Now, that trend, the diversification of what I learned in my age, I think someone just mentioned now that once you go over a barrier of 40, it's like teaching an old dog new tricks, and it's hard. I work in the computing landscape, and end user computing and transformation of IT to an older generation is just not the best thing you want on board. So I can see where the challenge is that you've mentioned, but I think as Eagle One did mention that it's more of the new gen. So my kids, they never knew what financial education is. You chip them 20, 30 quid, they're fine, But then I sort of changed things around, learning from one of the guys on the channel that, just open a wallet for them. The same 20, 30, 40 quid you sort of got during Christmas time, buy a token, okay? So I bought Dodge for, I think, 10 quid, bought Wink, just those tiny coins. What's happened is, he's not only has he actually seen that money grow, it's not a wider range, but just to let them understand what is actually going on. Because, I'm working with poor programming here, you see. So I'm trying to sort of, change that mindset and, onboard crypto. I'm in my 40s. I've been hearing Bitcoin for God knows, maybe 10, 15 years. I didn't really give 2 shits about it,
Right.
But now, fast forward now to 2020, 2021, and you sort of look at these things and you keep on wondering, okay, maybe there is probably a brighter light at the deep end of the tunnel. So I think the new age as well, they need to sort of know what's going on. And the earlier the key into this, I'm not saying education is not the best, but I think that financial learning curve is a big, massive gap.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think generally teaching people, defining things for them, understanding there's a better way, there's a new way, a better way of doing things than what they're used to. Unlearning is a difficult thing. Unlearning what you're used to is a difficult thing. It's a different journey on its own. So, yeah, agreed. Okay, this is getting to almost an hour. I know Mike, we have Mike's time, limited time with Mike. So, guys, let's chime in. Any questions you may have? Again, Jedi K, Eagle One, questions for Mike? Mike is a Validator DAO council member, so we're having first-hand information here from him.
Yeah, for me, guys, really, it's I don't have a question because right now my head is just spinning on the different ways to matching the local scene, like in some of the African countries that I know about, the local environment to what could be possible. And I can't code to save my life, but I can describe a solution to get people to do it. And now I'm just thinking of the different ways this could work. So no questions right now. You already, from this discussion, I think I have lots of questions to answer. To myself.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
On how this can be deployed.
Interesting.
So I'm good. This was a nice
so long as that has sparked off a thought process in your mind, that's a beautiful thing. This is why we geek out. This is why we talk about stuff. Excellent. Okay, Coin Watcher, any?
Right. Yes, I'm taking notes as well. But I have one last question, Mike. Please, where do you see regulation coming into this space?
Yeah, without a doubt, there will definitely be regulation. It's just like anything. This is the Wild West. Everything is so new.
Yes.
And if you know anything about real estate, that at one point was the Wild West, and it was every man for itself. And there was a lot of people that were being ripped off buying and selling homes. Someone would try and sell you something, and you never actually owned that property. And then regulation had to step in. And ultimately, regulation isn't a bad thing. It's to protect. But we can't lose what is important, and that is decentralization as well.
Yeah.
Right? So we do have to brainstorm and think of a way, how can we keep this decentralized, but also trust and help protect the masses so we can further adopt growth and get that out there, so everybody and their grandma are investing into crypto and not worried about getting hurt. or taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Okay. Good stuff. Well, that's a good one. Before we go, I'll just show everybody's Twitter page. This is Jedi K's Twitter page. We also have Eagle One, just so everybody knows everybody. Cool. That's Eagle One. And Soul is there as well.
I don't think I'm following Soul. I think I'm
Are you following Soul? And then, of course, we have you, the Coin Watcher. You always talk about coins all day, yes? So that's you. And then, of course, we have Mars Initiative again. So we end with that. So that's cool. Okay, I just thought I'd plug everybody. Oh, yeah, and of course, is there a DAO, a Validator DAO account now, Mike, that we can plug for people to have a look? Or is there a Telegram group?
Yeah, not at this time, actually.
Okay,
that's something that we are going to be developing. It sounds like we're also going to be potentially starting a blog as well. So we'll just definitely have to have a future episode where we talk about that.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. We're game with that. Okay, so maybe Jedi K, you might have to anchor the next one because I know you're making notes. So you might have to co-host the next one with ourselves and Mike. Yeah. So you draw up an agenda for us. Nice one, Mike. I think we should round off. And by the way, before we round off, we should have a sort of tentative agreement saying we'll catch up in another couple of weeks, maybe thereabouts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about your validator or anything, feel free to reach out to me anytime. My DMs are always open. So
absolutely. Oh yes. Mike's DMs are always open. By the way, guys, that's why we got into his DM and asked him to come on this, and thankfully he obliged. Thank you, Mike. Yeah. Okay, we'll do a quick fire round and we'll do a final word session, final words from the guests. So we start with Jedi K. I see you shaking your face. You're not doing a haiku, don't worry.
All right, good.
We're going to start from Essex in London. Soul, you want to say your final word and your thanks to Mike for this? Yeah?
Oh, yeah. My thanks very much. Myself and TokenNuggets had a quick chat before coming, and he said, mate, I don't care where you are, Central London, just jump on the bloody train and make sure you meet on the meeting. So I'm happy I made it. My intention was to sort of pop crawl a bit, which I don't have the strength to do, but here am I. Thank you very much for joining, and thanks very much for sharing your expertise and knowledge. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, just before Soul goes, I'll just let Mike know as well that Soul is a drone pilot as well as his hobby. So hopefully we'll be uploading some NFT aerial photography from Soul sometime. Excellent. Thanks for that, Soul. Coin Watcher, Chibueze, say your final words, please.
Right. Thank you, guys, and thanks so much, Mike. It's been a pleasure being on here with you. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Yes. And Eagle One, please, your final word. I know you're tired. Please, final word from you.
Thanks for having another great time with you guys, and thanks for coming, Mike. It was great having you on board tonight.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. Again, I'll chime in that we're also hoping for some aerial photography from Eagle One when it's off in the helicopter. There, we upload it to NFT. Excellent. Thanks for that, Eagle One. Jedi K, no haiku, I know, but final words from you.
Yeah, it was a good one, and nice one, Mike. I can tell you now, you've created a monster in my head. Yeah, those thoughts are there.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, because
fantastic.
We all could do our part, even if you just go out and get one person to get into DeFi, you've already made a difference. So
fantastic. Excellent.
Nice.
Thank you for that, Jedi K. And of course, Mike, final words from you, our guests, please.
Thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure meeting you all. Okay. And yeah, I think
we'll do this again.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do this again.
Nice.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. Well, on that note, guys, we'll say goodbye to the usual suspects, and thank you to Mike for coming on board. And on that note, we'll leave the meeting. Thank you very much, and catch you on Twitter. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Sounds
Cheers.
Good. Thanks.
Cheers.